Countdown to the Geeks. It's Retro Ray. We're back again. And we also got Fernando back, Fernando Ruiz, and he worked on Clerks and Archie. We had him on before, but we couldn't talk much because they hadn't dropped yet. But now we can talk a little bit spoilers about how he worked on it, where he got the inspiration to draw it. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. Of course, before we start, we got to give a quick shout out to Dragons de Alamo Ranch here in San Antonio. Um, Basically, if you're a comic book or Magic fan or D&D, 40K, you want to come here, definitely pick up your stuff, sign up for a subscription. Um, and then also, let's not forget about Nasser's show. That's this November 15th at the Red Oak Ballroom. This is where it's going to have independent comic creators, independent writers, legend comic book artists and writers. Hopefully next year we can get Fernando to come to San Antonio. That would be freaking awesome. Um, but yeah, let's get him in the room. Let's start talking about what he's been up to for the last time we talked with him. Fernando.
Hey, everybody. How are you, Ray?
Good, sir. You've been a busy man. Y'all moved. The school moved.
Yes, yeah.
Got new enrollment. How was that?
Oh man, that was a mission. That was it was amazing. Anthony Marquez, president of the Kubert School, and his wife Jacqueline, the director of the Kubert School. They moved the Kubert School from where the school had been for 48 years in Dover. The school had started in this mansion in Dover in 1976. Next year is our 50th anniversary. So Joe started the school in a literal mansion in Dover, and then in 1984. Joe acquired the Dover High School or the Dover Middle School, and he moved the school there, where we were up until May of this year. And now we moved a half hour away from out of Dover to a nice little town, Madison, New Jersey, which is already a college town. Fairleigh Dickinson University, Drew University, they're both there. So it's a really nice. We're right there on Main Street, so we're right in the town's downtown. So it's got and we're right next to the train. So it's super convenient for our students.
Wow, that's freaking cool.
It
Guys,
is.
if you
It's
want,
really nice.
yeah, if you want to be an artist, how can, if someone's inspiring and they want to go to an art school, because most art schools don't offer what you guys offer, what can somebody do? Can they do it online, or how does the process work?
Oh well, they can do our school online.
Oh,
And there's actually two ways of doing it. Number one, there's our full-time program, and that's if you want to be a comic book artist, that's the way to go, is through our full-time program. And one of the gifts of COVID was we became online capable. So we went online for our classes during COVID, and we kept that capability. So now our if now our students don't have to relocate to beautiful New Jersey to attend our school. Now you could be anywhere in the world. Literally, we have students this year. We have a student in Mexico.
oh
Um,
wow.
a couple years ago, we had two guys in Australia, one in Japan and one in India. So you could literally be anywhere in the world, and as long as you get that internet connection, you can. And it's not like you're just watching videos. You're a part of the class. You log on just the same way you and I are talking, right? You would log on. You could see the class. You could communicate with the teacher. You could communicate with the other students, and it's just like being there, but you're doing it online. And we use Google Classroom, which everyone under the age of 50 knows what Google Classroom is by now. I had to figure it out the hard way, but all the kids, I interview all of our applicants, so I always ask them, "You familiar with Google Classroom?" They're all old pros at it. They all know it. So we use Google Classroom, and that's how everybody uploads their projects, their assignments to Google Classroom. That's how they get graded. Um, and we record our classes too. So our students online and in person, they could rewatch the classes over and over. So and we also have tablets in the classes for our instructors, so they could draw on on a Cintiq, and what they're drawing, what they're demonstrating for their students, would show up on each student's laptop. And in class, we have these nice big giant TVs over the teacher, so you could watch the. I'm from the old days when I wanted to do a demo. Everybody had to come up and gather around and look over my shoulder and get like the best seat they could behind me. But now, no more of that. Everybody can sit in their own seats and just watch it on the TV,
Wow.
and it shows up on the recordings. So it's really amazing. That's really and that's only within the last 5 years, and it feels like such a warp jump into the future. It's really cool. But yeah,
Wow.
so uh, people can attend. You could sign up for, you can enroll in the Kubert School and attend physically in person, or you can attend remotely. And we have students too. Look, tuition ain't free. That it could cost a few bucks. And we're competitive with most schools, but it's still a chunk of money people have to come up with. So if you can't come up with living expenses and moving expenses to relocate to New Jersey for 3 years, um, do it online. Save a few bucks, stay at home, wherever home is, and join us remotely. Um, Now we also have what we call the online studies program, and that's less of a commitment. Those classes don't have anything to do with our program, with our full time program. We offer those seasonally. We're about to start up a new session of those next Monday, October 6th is the first week of classes. So we'll, we offer different classes. There's a bunch of classes that we offer, and people could sign up for whatever classes they want, and they take them once a week for 6 weeks. They're in
Oh
the
wow.
evenings. They're an hour and a half. You do it online, again, just the same way you and I are talking. Um, and we have a nice array. I'm going to be teaching two classes. I always teach basic drawing, which always goes through. Everybody always wants basic drawing. I'm also teaching. This is a new class, and I'm really excited for it. It's the first time I'm doing it, and it's called Conquering Copics. So it's a class on coloring with Copic
Oh
markers.
wow.
So which I love doing. I always did it when I was doing conventions. That's how I always did commissions and stuff. I enjoy it, and I think people will get a kick out of it. So so those are two ways that people can join the school without physically having to make the big move.
Well, and not just that. I mean, the school has had great artists and illustrators come out of this school. I mean,
Oh yeah,
Erica Schultz taught there as well, right?
she taught there. Yeah, yeah, she taught there for a couple of years. She teaches one of the writing classes in our online studies program every now and then, because we do like to mix it up.
Uh-huh.
Um, this again, we're starting up our new session in next week, October 6th. Philip Johnson is teaching the writing class this time. So you know we get all different people to teach all different classes.
And guys, if you don't know who Erica Schultz is, we've had her on the podcast before. She's currently writing Laura Kenny Wolverine. She wrote Daredevil, and she's writing Spawn Rat City. Uh, I mean, guys, anyone. can become an artist and writer if you have the passion for it. You need to go and do it. I mean, Kevin Smith, right now, the reason, of course, we got Fernando back on is because we're going to talk about Kevin Smith's book, but this guy inspired me to do what I'm doing here right now. And, I get the opportunity to interview him in Austin and tell him, you know, back in 2007, listening to his first podcast, and not just that, but I mean, following his movies, how he inspired me to step outside my comfort zone and my box. I wouldn't have accomplished some of these things that I have accomplished in the comic world. I'm no artist, but some covers I've helped come up with, and you may have bought, you know, it's only been like four different covers I've worked on that I've worked with an artist on, but it's my idea that was brought to life on paper. And I would have never thought I would do that, but it's because of Kevin that I was able to get that opportunity to do something like that. And, Fernando teaching at the Kubert School, that's why Kubert made this school, was for people who love comics and want to write to go to, because most colleges don't offer that type of teachings for that. Their art is a little bit different than what this school offers. But anyway, getting back to the book that you worked on, how was it? Now that we can talk spoilers, and you mentioned I mean, you did your studying because Kevin loved what you did. He said the way
Oh,
you, he said the way you did the artwork and the way you portrayed the characters off of his writing, he loved it.
oh.
What get that? Where'd you get that from?
Well, you know, I drew the way I always draw, which I like to kind of think that I essentially draw a classic Archie,
Yeah,
maybe jazzed up a little bit, making him a little bit more modern. Uh, so, I brought that to the story. But really, and I'm not kissing up to Kevin here, but it was really an inspirational script. It really was because,
yeah,
and I may have said this the last time we talked. When I was first offered this, when this was first brought up to me, one of my first reactions was, "This hasn't been done before. Like this is this. It's such a natural idea."
yeah,
And the way he wrote it, and I will say this, it's one of the things that made Archie versus Predator work so well. And I think the best Archie crossovers work this way. It's like a regular Archie story, but then this extra thing shows up, you know? So
yeah.
like I'm like this was so seamless that the Archie characters meet Jay and Silent Bob and all the Clerks characters and all the people from the View Askew universe. Um, it was such a perfect fit. So yeah, you know um, uh, when they first asked me to do this, they did ask me to do some sketches because they wanted to see what these guys would look like. What would Jay and Silent Bob look like Archie-fied.
Yeah.
Um, and I drew a bunch of sketches. It was so easy. It was I mean, doing that was so easy because really Jay and Silent Bob, they're almost cartoons. Jay especially. Jay was he that Jay just poured from my pencil. It was so easy. Um, so I didn't do that many of them, and I sent them off. And of course, with Kevin involved, he gets to approve everything. They run everything past him, and everything. I mean, these were, I think, the fastest approvals I ever got. Everything just went smoothly. Um, so that's really the story behind the look of it. He was okay with it, and you know, I think I mentioned this the last time too. It had been a long time for me and the Clerks movies and the Jay and Silent Bob movies. So as soon as I got this gig, I sat down and I had a marathon. I I watched all the movies, and it had been a real long time for me and the original Clerks, and I'm happy to report. man, that movie holds up. That movie is
It does.
still solid. In fact, I was impressed at how good, that movie really is. Um, and I had not seen two, Clerks 2. So I watched that, and that was, man, you know, you don't think that you could hit that specific lightning, get that lightning in the bottle twice.
Yeah.
But Clerks 2 is a really, things get serious, more serious in Clerks 2.
Yeah.
And brother, I sure as hell wasn't ready for Clerks 3. And I went into that cold. And I'm watching this, when did Clerks 3 come out? Like a couple years ago?
Yeah.
And I missed it. I totally missed it. And I had not heard anything about it. And I don't know. We're talking spoilers about the comic. I don't know I don't know if I want to ruin Clerks 3 for anybody. But ooh, if you haven't seen that, you gotta go into that one braced a little.
Yeah.
That's a heavy flick.
But it still has the comedic, back and forth, the bickering.
Oh, it does.
Um
It's a
it
totally good. It's a great movie. It's a
Yeah.
great and with all due respect to Kevin, I'm doing my research and I'm reading up, and I know the fan response to 3 was a little uneven, but
Yeah.
but you know what I'll say? It may not be the way you wanted the story to go, but it's the way the story went,
Yeah.
you know, and it's a very it's a very satisfying story.
No,
It's
it is. I mean, he said this is 13.5. I mean 13.5. 3.5.
yeah.
Um and I mean, it if you're a Kevin Smith fan in general, and then if you're a Josie and the Pussycats doll fan, I mean, you get it all in here. Um, I mean, even down to, I'm gonna have to pop this open. By the way, he put on here, had him put it, Fernando rocks.
Ah, oh,
Yeah, dude, I
he
had to,
is the
man.
nicest guy.
Oh
I
yeah,
gotta say, there's not a drop of phoniness there. He is the most genuine guy. The Kevin that you see out there doing, his talks, that's him. That's him. That he
yeah,
is. We did a signing at the Secret Stash, and it was the weekend of his birthday, and it was a big event for his birthday. Um, and they sold tickets to this, and there was like a mob. There was like a ton of people,
yeah,
and there was a line all the way outside of the store, and they would bring in the people to meet him in groups of about, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 people at a time. So at the top of every hour, and we were there all day, the top of every hour, they would bring in one of these groups, and he would talk to the groups. He would greet them, and every person in that group, and they all showed up to get their comics signed, and then they would come over, and I would sign them. Chris Campagna, who did a one of the variant covers, he was there too, and he got to sign. But Kevin gave every person that showed up, honest to God quality time.
yep,
It's not like one of these celebrity signings that you see at conventions where it's like, William Shatner's corpse propped up on a stool and you get to stand next to him and they snap the picture and then they push you away. No.
yes,
Kevin, first of all, he hugged everybody. He hugged every individual. He talked to every person. Uh, you know, I was really amazed. I was really amazed by that. I was not ready for. I always knew he was a nice guy, and I always heard great things about him. But, and of course, when he and I talked, he was so complimentary about the book, and so kind. You know, we hugged. It was really, it's great when it's
yeah. I
always
got this
nice to be
picture, man.
appreciated. Oh, he was great. He was great. He was like, yeah, let's take pictures.
No, and the thing is too, I got to cover the event, and normally I've seen him at conventions as well and doing the autograph thing. But normally when you're there, you're in line to either get your autographs or whatever. But this time I was actually there as a photographer and videographer, and getting to see everyone come up to him, and as I'm recording each, parts of the interaction and stuff, and hearing how they impacted their lives. Like, we had a couple of guys who came up and said, "Hey man, I wrote my first comic, here's my graphic novel." They gave him the graphic novel, and he says, "Here, issue 2 has the graphic novel hasn't come out yet, but here's a publication for part 2." I mean, literally, I mean, seeing that and seeing that I wasn't the only person he touched, it made you think, we're all here and put on this world trying to figure out what our purpose is.
Mhm.
And I feel Kevin was meant to make movies and tell stories, and in doing that, he touched people's lives to inspire them to do things. And seeing the stories, I mean, even we had two young filmmakers from the Austin College come up saying that, "Hey, we just finished writing our first script, we just finished filming it," and they had Kevin sign their script so they could have,
Oh,
because he inspired them to do that. And then he gave them he gave Kevin one of the script itself, and they signed it, because I mean, these guys were probably early 20s. I mean, they weren't even around when
oh.
Clerks officially came out.
Oh my
Y-
God.
yeah, so
That's
that tells you the impact they made, he made on people. And and I'm pretty sure you got to see that, because like you said, every person that came up he was hugging and taking photos with.
and he appreciates everyone.
Yeah.
Like uh, it's like he's aware he is where he is because the fans loved him, and
Yeah.
he really returns that love. He is appreciative of their love.
Yeah.
It's really an amazing thing to see, because it's very easy for somebody in his position to kind of just forget where you came from, but he really didn't. He really totally embraces it, and he really, you could tell it's important to him, and
Yeah.
and comics are important to him. The medium. It's really an art form that he cherishes.
Did you think it was going to be this? I mean, guys, if you didn't know, I'm going to pull this up right here. These are all the variants that they had for it. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, they had some where you can have your own put onto it. I mean, it was freaking awesome. Um, and getting to see the different covers. Which one was your favorite?
Oh God, there was a million of them. There was like you said, I every time I'd go online, I would see a new cover. I
Yeah.
was I was like, wow, which one did I do again? I mean, and they're all so different.
Yes.
I'm looking now at that page of variant covers.
Yeah.
Um, they all bring something to the party. It's amazing how many ideas were out there for this. So
Yeah.
I love them all. They're terrific.
And the cool thing about it, guys, if you didn't get your hands on one of these, you're missing out. Um, you get to see like the lettering and some of the sketches on there. Um, I take it, is that the stuff that you kind of gave, because it shows your artwork of what you, is this what you turned in when they asked you to uh
Y-
get some?
yes, some of those are. Yeah, actually, these, if you're on this page, these at the bottom, those
Oh
are the very
yeah.
sketches that I did.
Oh wow.
Those are the ones. I forget. I think I did that on my own,
Oh
and
wow.
I don't remember. I think I may have snuck that into the packet of artwork that we gave him.
Oh yeah, he told me about that. He got the original art.
Yep, yeah, yeah. Archie Comics. They wanted to. do something nice for him. So they gifted Kevin all the the artwork to the entire issue, and the two covers that I did. So the original art to the
Oh,
two covers I did the main cover, which is
yeah,
this one,
that's the one I
and
got.
I did one of the variants.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it sold like crazy. People who were buying the different variants. Like some of the people that came into the store was like, "Hey, if you're Kevin Smith, man, you want to get this." You know, mind you, this is pre-reading it because I hadn't read it yet. And then once I started reading it, I couldn't put it down. I mean, I mean, even down to the characters from Clerks 3. I mean, you literally nailed it on those characters. I was just like, and he was right. It is, 3.5. It's like watching a movie and Archie comes into the universe and you're just literally just reading the pages.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing. You know, I said before how seamless the clerk's characters fit in
Yeah.
with Archie. It's also amazing how Archie fits in with the clerk's characters because the first half of the book takes place in New Jersey at the the quick
Quick.
stop
Yeah.
and also to Jay and Silent Bob's dispensary next door, the old video store. um, it was a perfect fit. Those two universes really complement each other very well.
We need now, since now they've got the rights back to Dogma, which has hit, it's hitting in box sets now, coming out, for the release, and they released it in theaters again. I would love to see the characters from Dogma come into the Archie universe with Jay and Silent Bob again. That, because I mean, okay, Dogma had been on hiatus for a long period of time because of the whole rights issue. If you guys have not seen this movie, it is a movie to watch. I loved it. I mean, the cast they had in there, Chris Rock, I mean, Ben Affleck. It is such a great movie.
Alan Rickman, the great Alan
Oh
Rickman.
man. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would love to see Alan Rickman in the Archie universe because
Oh
we can't
man.
see him in the theaters anymore. I
What?
think having him in here would be awesome.
Well, that would be really fun to draw
Yeah.
because I always love drawing some supernatural stuff, aliens and monsters, things like that. So bringing in angels and demons, that would be a blast to draw. I'd have a ball with that.
No, it would be awesome to do that. I mean, you killed it, like I said, and I have to. The only thing I didn't get was a sketch. I was hoping they had to get a sketch cover. The reason why
Ah.
is because if I get to meet you, I would definitely want to do, because that's one thing I do like is getting sketch covers done.
Hmm.
I have to get a sketch from you. And mind you guys, you don't know, I met Fernando back in 2005, I think, or around there. It was in Dallas when he came down.
Dallas.
It would, yeah, and that's when
Yeah.
I first met him. He was the coolest guy to come up to, chit chat. I mean, literally, he talked to me afterwards. Followed him on social media. We kept in touch here and there throughout the years, and it's so crazy that years later that he works on this book and we get to talk about it now. Things happen for a reason in in our lives for a reason. You come across people for reasons. We don't know at the time what they're for, but everyone is, comes into someone's life in some form or fashion, and it's either you build friendships or stuff like that. And you are the nicest man. That's all I can say.
Oh, thank
Um,
you very much. That's it's always nice to hear.
Yeah, no, I mean, some artists, you can, they're busy and stuff like that, and no, you literally, like, you're like Kevin. You take the time, you talk to people if they have questions. Because I mean, I even remember somebody had approached you at the con and asked you about their art, and that's cool because that's what some young artists want. They want someone like you to look at their artwork and tell them, "Hey, what I need to work on," or "What
Oh,
do you think?" You know what I mean?
oh, sure, sure. I mean, look, I know I really value the teachers that I had,
Yeah,
when I was a student. And a big part of that is because, you when you grow up and like you draw, um, you may be the only person who draws in your crowd. You know, it's easy to grow up without having somebody who speaks your language.
Yeah.
And then you go to art school, which I did, and I went to college before going to the Kubert School. I went to college, and it was all people who spoke art, who spoke about this thing, this skill that I wanted to acquire. So it's great. And then when I go to the Kubert School, where it's not just art, it's comic book art. Man, that was totally my language. And I felt I came home, and I guess so because I stayed there for the last. This is my 30th year of teaching at the Kubert School, by the way. I
And you got the. I mean, you got the life, sir. I mean, you found something that you loved, and you got to do it. I mean, what else can you do? I mean, most people struggle to find where they want to be,
It's true.
and you found your love and actually got to get paid to do it.
Well, I am very, very lucky, because yeah, I I love what I do, and I tell our students all the time, look, if you love this and you can make a living at it, um, that's the best thing in the world. You
Yeah.
know, there isn't, you know, sometimes when you get together with people on a Sunday night, there's always that point that somebody says, oh, I got to go to work tomorrow.
We
I genuinely never have that. And now, I'm the academic supervisor at the Kubert School. So that means I'm on staff. So I'm there every day. So,
wow.
and I may not enjoy waking up at 6 a.m. to get to the school, but I don't sweat my job. I love the people that I work with. Anthony, he's like family to me. Um, Nobody has ever had my back like that guy. So I love the people that I work with. And I have a great time with the students. I don't tell them I said that, but I genuinely have a ball. Uh, you know, they're my prisoners, so they're forced to listen to me.
Oh, that's freaking awesome. Well, I'm gonna bring this photo up because you mentioned that there was other people there at that signing with you.
Hmm.
So tell us, who else are these artists that were at the table with you are writers?
Sure. At the Jane Silent Bob,
Yes.
at the Secret Snare, uh, there was Chris Campagna, Chris is all over the place, and Chris is one of the nicest guys too. If you have not met Chris, hunt them down. And I know Chris does a lot of conventions now, so he'll probably be coming to a convention near you at some point. Genuinely one of the nicest guys, one of the funniest guys. Um, as it turned out, he and I are both big Billy Joel fans,
Oh wow.
and we did that signing the weekend that this documentary hit on HBO about Billy Joel. So we spent the weekend talking Billy Joel all day. So he's really great, and he's all over the place. He draws for everybody. So and he's great. He's an amazing artist. He did the Jane Silent Bob's Secret Stash exclusive variant cover for the store. So
Oh wow.
if you see it, that's an amazing cover. And of course, right in between Chris and myself was my guy Anthony Marquis, he was one of my students, a graduate of the Kubert School. Now he bought the place. Now he's the president of the Kubert School.
Wow.
And Anthony, his career is on fire too. He draws a lot of stuff for DC. He's done Superman stories. He did a Batman miniseries for them last year. Batman: The Radio Adventures.
Yeah.
Um, he's doing. I don't know if it's been announced yet or not. He's doing a Supergirl story. So, breaking news: Anthony's doing a Supergirl story.
Oh wow.
Um, and he just did a Green Lantern variant cover that that hit last week, and it's an amazing. DC should just do a slew of Anthony's variant covers, because he has this great, almost he's like the modern Darwin Cook, but a very
Oh
nice
man.
classic yet animated style. It's really cool. I love his work.
I have to get him on the podcast. I
Oh yeah, he's a talker. He's a if you like hearing me go on, you'll love Anthony's a much better communicator than I am. You would love talking to
Dude, I love talking to you, man. It's like we're just two buds just kicking it. And now I have to ask, when we had you on,
him.
Superman hadn't come out yet,
Oh.
and we couldn't talk about that. So did you have a chance to watch it?
I
And
did.
what were your thoughts?
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I know people really like that movie. I had issues with it. I had a lot of issues with it, actually. And I think, I don't know if we talked though. I think we may have covered my love of crypto
Yes, crypto,
in
yeah.
the last time. I grew up a huge crypto fan. Man, this movie made me sick of crypto.
Oh, I
And
loved him.
well, look, there were a lot of good things in the movie, and I went into the movie wanting to love it. Um, I wish Superman was better. I wish Superman was not beaten up all the time. Um, I wish Superman looked better. I mean, I know. I guess these days, with adaptations being what they are, we could have had a much worse costume, but it still, to me, did not. I mean, to me, it looked like a bad cosplay look. And given the fact that Superman is trash throughout 2/3 of this movie, it looked like dirty cosplay. He's beaten up throughout most of this movie. Um, I love, like, yeah, I love that crypto was there. I think crypto became a punchline that they fell back on way too often. How many times is crypto going to fly in at the last? In fact, crypto was a far more effective superhero than Superman was. Superman gets trashed. Superman's opening move should have been to whistle for crypto in every fight. He would have been in much better shape. Um, so, and one of my problems with a lot of modern superhero movies is that final act, or at least the climax, turns into flashing lights on the screen. It's nothing you can wrap your head. You don't know what the hell's going on. They're just flashing lights at you on the screen, and that's what this was. This idea of the pocket universe, and this hole is just opening up in the earth. All right, for me, it's a little hard to sink my teeth into that. That gets a little too. I can't believe I'm saying that, a little too sci-fi for me. It gets a little too fantastic. It stops being real. The Superman 78 movie. Lex Luthor wants to nuke California, so he owns the new West Coast. Beautiful, beautiful, super simple plot. I just described to you what that movie was about. You can totally digest that. I don't know if I could tell you what Luthor was trying to do in this movie. And also too, the hell with spoilers here. Okay, they I guess they stopped them, but how much of Metropolis was destroyed in this thing?
It kind of reminded me of like a Godzilla, and which that's what I loved about
Oh my
Godzilla.
god!
Yeah, they're battling in the middle, but and this is
But
where I kind of wish where I kind of the DC show that they were trying to do where you know and they have it in Marvel as well, where the cleanup crew that clean up
Oh,
after every
damage control. Yeah.
Damage Control. Yeah.
Yeah.
And and I think that's a comic I would like to see come back. And
It was a
especially,
cute idea.
yeah,
But geez, what do they do? Like, you've got buildings falling over like dominoes in this
yeah.
movie. You know,
And
it's like,
this is where they could do the comic based off of, "Ah, man, I don't want to go to work today because I got to go do this." You know what I mean?
I got to clean up the half of Metropolis that's been nuked. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I guess you saved the world, but now we're all living in a crater.
I mean those comics were pretty cool. Like I read some of them. Okay, they weren't all perfect on those, the Damage Control, but I got the premise. But if they would have done it right in a more of a comedic side of you, and
Yeah.
I think it would have been more fun. And not only that, do a little. This is just my opinion. With the comedic side, like you said, like, oh man, I don't want to go to work today, or even like the clerks. I'm not even supposed to be here today. You know,
We,
to do that thing.
you know what damage control would be perfect as, if you had that Ghostbusters feel, the original
Oh,
Ghostbusters.
yeah.
Anthony Marquez, he always has the perfect description for Ghostbusters. It's a story about plumbers. You know, it's these guys. They're in this blue collar job, and they show up. They're all dirty and scruffy. You know, there isn't a handsome one in the bunch. They look like regular guys showing up to clean out a septic tank, but they're fighting ghosts. That's what damage control should look like. There are these dirty blue collar workers, and they show up to clean up a dead sentinel that's fallen across Manhattan. That there's your first issue.
You know what? You need to start putting it together, sir. You just did an elevator pitch to
Hey,
bring that back.
call up somebody at Marvel, whoever's hiring at Marvel these days. Tell them I'll gladly write this for it. I'll draw it for them.
Even if it's just a 5-issue run. I mean,
Oh, I'll do 4. Give me 4 issues. I'll give you an epic.
it would be awesome, dude. I mean, especially when you just bought it up and cleaning up a Sentinel. I mean, I understand they kind of did it too, where I think it was in Spider-Man where Michael Keaton's character was taking all the technology and stuff like
Oh,
that.
right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, he became the Vulture.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a number of ways you do it. I think comedic is kind of where Kevin Smith is kind of that thing, like and that's one thing. This is why I fell in love with Kevin Smith's work, was because at that time in my age, when you're talking to your geek friends at that time frame, if you talk to somebody else and said, "Oh, hey, asking a question about Star Wars, like, hey, who do you think is working the contractors or whatever?"
Mhm.
Someone who's not a geek's not gonna talk with you in that way. But you and your buddies come up with the craziest conversations talking about, oh, like even in Mallrats, oh, Superman can't be with Lois because he will do, you know what I mean? That's
Oh,
that's us geeks talk. That's our talk. And then when I saw that, I'm like, dude, he's in my head and he has the same humor as I do. And that's
and we never saw that before.
yes.
He was really the first to write a movie. I mean, and that took balls, because he's writing in this very specific language. Who the hell's
Yeah.
going to get into that? But he took that chance, and he was the first guy to say, okay, what does a group of young 20 somethings who grew up as the Star Wars generate, what do they really sound like? What do they really talk about? And it's that, the you know the ins and outs of the guys who work on the Death Star, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and that's comic wise, I think that we need more kind of like that. I mean, even like because you're a Star Trek fan, do you watch Below Decks?
I've seen some of it. I haven't seen a lot of it, but I have seen some of it, and yeah, I dig some of those jokes too.
Yeah,
Man, talk about inside humor.
I mean that's kind of what they were kind of going with. They kind of took what Kevin Smith had put and bought it into Star Trek, and basically are the lower deck because people don't know. We see what's going on up here, but we never see what the plumbers are doing
Yeah.
below deck, and that's the premise but of it.
Yeah, we never get a series about the enlisted men of Starfleet. It's always like the captain, the commander, but what's a sergeant doing in Starfleet? What does a corporal do?
Yeah, and then of course we know what the red shirts are. Of course, red shirts.
Oh,
Yeah, we
yeah.
know what those are.
Well, you
Um,
get that shirt when you enlist. Ooh, that's bad news.
and that's the best part. I mean, and I feel that's why we need the inspiration for these younger generations to start writing what they want and doing what Kevin Smith is doing. Write what you and your friends would talk about, because there are more people like that at your age group that will get what you're trying to write. And I feel that's what we need to gravitate to the younger generation, so they can start reading now more into comics, and they can, and because when I talked to Marv Wolf, and that's why he had talked about when he made the Titans, was so that the younger generation that were reading the Titans can grow along with the characters as they matured, and that they would actually grow along with them. And that was a great idea. And I feel that's what we need to do: create more characters that these younger generations can gravitate to, like the elementary, early middle school, and then they can fall in love with them and start growing with those characters.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think I think comics hurt themselves when they changed what the product is.
Yeah.
You know,
To a percentage, yeah.
whether we like to admit it or not, comics started out as entertainment for children.
Yeah.
It was children's entertainment. Now, somewhere along the way, it became children's entertainment that we as adults could appreciate as well.
Yeah.
It was a deceptively sophisticated, layered entertainment where a little kid could really appreciate that Spider-Man story. But me as an adult, I could really get into Peter Parker's story too.
Yeah.
Um, but then it changed, and we left that little kid behind, and we just started speaking to that adult. And I think we ostracized a really essential part of our market, because where are the future readers coming from?
See, and this is my opinion. This is just my opinion.
Hmm.
So, me growing up, mind you, we didn't have comic shops for us. So, corner newsstands,
Yep.
Woolworth, or um, for over here, 7-Eleven is what, or was what I had.
Hmm.
So
Oh,
you go to
me
the
too.
convenience, yeah, you go to the convenience store, you're buying a drink and you're buying a Slurpee. Oh, there's comics here.
Oh,
Oh, let me grab one. Mind you, I didn't know at that time, at that age, like, oh, you need to follow these numbers, because no one ever told me. I just saw, oh, cool cover, I'm gonna pick it up. We need to have that now again, where those younger generations, because normally the kids are going to the stores with their parents,
yeah.
and as they're at the register, because that's normally where they had them buy, was with the register, and the parents, as they're paying, it catches a kid's eye, and it's what at that time was 75 cents, 50
Oh,
cents. Oh my,
probably. If you're going back to the 7-Eleven days, you're probably talking like 35, 50 cents.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That kind of accessibility, we need that. We need that back. And I know there are people who understand the economics of this far better than I do,
Yeah.
and they'll lay out a bunch of reasons why we can't, or why it's prohibitive. Um, but I think we do need that access. However we can make it happen. It'd be nice for little kids to be able to fall in love with these to come across it on their own.
Yeah.
Because now you have to actively go to a comic shop to find a
Yeah.
comic book. It's not like you're going to be in a store with mom and dad, like you said, and you're going to turn to this rack that has all these colorful, amazing covers, and you're like, oh my god, I gotta see what's going on in that. Oh, here's this guy and he's fighting a dinosaur. I gotta see what's going on in that. That's how we used to hook readers.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, even back then, because I had Matt Hodson on, and they bought um they're bringing back the old cartoons into comic book form. And
Hmm.
back then, of course, even the market would tap into to get cartoons, people, the kids, because mind you, we had Saturday morning cartoons,
Hmm.
growing up. So the way they enticed, and it was because more the toy market. So they're like, okay, we're gonna make these toys, but we're also gonna show this cartoon, but let's make a 3-issue comic so these kids can want to read this, but then also want to watch the cartoon. But then you know what? Now they're gonna want the toy. So that's how it was back then, which now there is no more Saturday morning cartoons, you
Yeah.
know. And I feel that was what I mean. Even though as kids, me growing up, I didn't want to wake up at 7 in the morning to go to school, or 6 in the morning. But come Saturday morning, I was up at 5 a.m. waiting for the cartoons to come on, and because I wanted to see the cartoons. And because I mean, Thundercats had comics, Silverhawks had comics, you know, and
Oh,
then
GI Joe was probably the king of those. GI
yeah,
Joe and Masters of the Universe.
yeah,
GI Joe had the trifecta because they had an enormously successful comic book.
yep,
They had the wildly popular cartoon and an amazing toy line.
yep, exactly. And
It
that's
was
the thing. I
great.
mean, oh, dude, you're a GI Joe fan?
Oh well, let me say, I, I am a very focused purist. I'm all about the original 13 because
Nice.
for me GI Joe hit. Um, I must have been 12 or 13, maybe 12. I guess 82. I was
Yeah.
12. Um, so I'm almost at that point where like I'm gonna be. I feel like I'm gonna be too old to be. So I guess I was into GI Joe for maybe 2 years. Um, but I like GI Joe when it was like soldiers,
Yeah.
when it was soldiers fighting Cobra. Once it became like the Ninja Adventures of Snake Eyes, it was starting to leave me out. I like
Yeah.
Snake. I thought Snake Eyes was cool too, but I liked him as the commando. I
Yeah.
liked him as the quiet guy who was in the background. He wasn't the center star. Those first 20 issues of the Marvel GI Joe comic book, that's gold. That to me is GI Joe at its best.
Nice. I take it you have those 20?
I do not. I do not. I sold my comics a while ago. I do not have those first 20. No,
Wow.
no. I do miss those. I should pick up I'm sure there's a trade or something for those, but I only want those first 20. You know.
No, they were it was a great series. No, I agree. In the movies and the movie, which is funny, I just found this out. Um Supposedly, I guess when they were doing the G.I. Joe movie, when they did the Transformers, supposedly they were gonna kill Duke off in the movie as well.
Oh God.
And yeah, and so it was supposed to release in theaters, but because of what happened with Optimus Prime and the reaction happened with that, they're like, nope, it's not going in theaters. We're changing the ending and it's going straight to video. I did not know that.
Oh my God. Can I tell you a quick story?
Yeah.
This might not be a quick story. I'm doing a convention here in Jersey, a local show here called Garden State Comic Fest.
Oh yeah.
You may have heard of it. It's like the New Jersey show. They have it a couple of times a year. Anyway, I was invited to the show as a guest, and I'm doing the show, and it was a particularly busy show for me. Now, as a guest, I'm entitled to lunch in the green room, and I did not because it was such a busy show. I didn't get a chance to get to the green room until really late in the day. So I finally get into the green room, um, and the green room, they have this buffet of food, most of which was gone by this point. And there was one table, and there were two older gentlemen seated at the table. And, I get myself something to eat. And there's no place to sit other than at this table with these two older guys. And I'm sitting there, and the two older guys, they clearly, and I didn't recognize them, because I don't know these guys. I'm not looking directly at them. I'm just sitting down, and I'm giving them their space. I'm minding my own business. But I'm just, they're talking back and forth, and they're tearing each other up mercilessly. They're just picking on each other. And I could tell that they're really good friends. They've known each other for years. They are very good friends, and this is just what these guys do. They just and they're really good at tearing each other apart. Like, these are the funniest insults I've ever heard. And as I'm eating, I've got one guy sitting directly across from me, and the other guy is sitting to my right. And I'm eating, and the guy to my right, I recognize this guy's voice. And it was Michael Bell, who did the voice of Duke, and a bazillion other cartoon voices. And also Michael Bell, he, as an actor, he's appeared in a million things. Like, you would know him if you saw him. And I was like, oh my God, this is Michael Bell. This is Duke, right? And then when I look across the table, the other guy was Alan Oppenheimer, Skeletor.
Oh, wow.
And now I'm just enjoying the show. Now I'm really enjoying, because now I've got both of their voices are programmed exactly in my head. And so at one point, Skeletor says to me, he noticed I've got my badge hanging around my neck, and he says, "So what do you do?" And I said, "Well, I'm an artist, and I drew for Archie Comics." And I said, "Oh," and Michael Bell then told me this story of how when he was a kid, his parents took him to an airing of the Archie radio show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he got to and on the Archie radio show, Archie was voiced by Bob Hastings. Now, Bob Hastings, to bring this circle to a close, Bob Hastings voiced Archie on the radio show. He did a bazillion TV appearances. Most people would remember him as Kelsey in Kelsey's Bar on the Archie Bunker show.
Oh, yeah.
But he was also the voice of Superboy in the 1960s filmation cartoons of Superboy.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
And then later on, he would be the voice of Commissioner Gordon on Batman the Animated Series, the Bruce Timm show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I had lunch with Duke and Skeletor, and it was a blast. I had such a good time, and it was amazing to see those guys in action.
Wow. That is so cool. I mean, see, that's the best part about conventions and getting to meet people that you grew. Well, mind you, before I didn't know about voice acting or voice actors until I saw, you know, Batman the Animated Series. Until I found out that Mark Hamill was doing the voice of Joker.
Yeah.
That's when I actually started looking at who does voices. Prior to that, I didn't know two things about voice actors.
Well, that show in particular, the casting was spot on. That was maybe the best cast cartoon of all time. But that was also maybe the first time that like big name live actors would come in and do cartoon voice, because I grew up, I'm sure you did too, watching the Super Friends, and
Yeah.
I couldn't, well, I could tell you some of those names, but nobody would know who the hell they were. But we go to Batman the Animated Series, and yeah, we could pick out Mark Hamill. What was his name? His name is escaping me. Who did the Riddler? Um,
Oh, Glover.
John Glover
Yeah.
did the Riddler. Roddy McDowell did the Mad Hatter. My God.
Yeah.
Adrienne Barbeau, I believe, did Catwoman, at least in the first episode.
Yeah.
So I mean, these are big names.
Yeah. Great show to this day. And if it wasn't for that show, I would not be such a Harley
Oh,
Quinn fan.
there you go.
Yeah.
As is Kevin. Talk about full circle here. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that character, I don't know, it was just something about that character that drew me to her. Um, and I just loved her at that point. And eventually, when she got her first comic, she came on her first appearance and everything like that. And that's when I first fell in love with that character. Introduced her to my wife because my wife had never seen Batman the animated series. And then, of course, now our little dog Chihuahua is named Harley as well. But no, it's a small world. I mean, even that. I mean, um, Supergirl. I've been a big Supergirl fan from the first time I saw the character. And, when they did it in New 52, amid that, I read that entire run and everything, and it's just something about Supergirl. But she's never really took off. And then when they did the TV show, that's when I really started like, oh man, I hope this is gonna open the doors for more stuff. Now, so but there's so many characters out there that are not big characters. I mean, even Vigilante in Peacemaker,
Yeah.
that was a character I didn't knew nothing about.
Well, I mean, honestly, you just never know. You just never know anymore. I mean, look, Mr. Terrific is taking off huge now because he was in the Superman movie.
Yeah,
And I'll tell you, he was great in that. He was amazing.
yeah.
Um, and as you said, Vigilante, man, and talk about raising the dead. Where the hell was that character? So you just never know. I'm waiting for Blue Devil to get his big break. I loved Blue Devil when I was a kid.
Hey, you never know. I mean, dude, Judo Master.
Oh
You,
yeah, yeah, Judo Master. Where did that come from? You never know. Whatever obscure thing you may be a fan of, don't give up hope. All it takes is one big break, and they'll be back. And hey, look at Rocket Raccoon.
I just was talking to the Alexa's assistant from the movie, the actress, I forgot her name, right? Deborah. And we're talking about James Gunn, that he gave characters in Guardians of the Galaxy. If you read the comics, the original comics, they're nothing like what we saw on TV, on the
Oh,
movies.
well, Rocket Raccoon. I remember him. What, 30, 40 years ago, when he first appeared in the Hulk, and he got his own miniseries, and I was like, oh, that's cute. But
Yep.
he wasn't the Rocket of today. Now he's gigantic. Who would have thought Rocket would be the Wolverine of today, or
Yeah.
Groot, Groot for that matter?
Oh, that's, yeah, even that one. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You don't know, and that's what I like about the comic industry.
Yeah.
There's a
Oh, me
character for
too.
everybody who they can relate to. And that's why I'm doing this, is because I want people to get more involved in comics. And I mean, even the young publishers that are coming out right now, like Ignition just came out with a murder podcast. I'm a podcast fanatic. I like watching, forensic files. I like Dexter, so, and then the title caught me, and I'm like, okay, so with PRH they'll give you previews to read so that you
Hmm.
can pitch it, right? As soon as I started reading it, I felt like I was watching like a horror TV show kind of thing
Hmm.
about a podcast. You just got one issue, so you don't know what's going on. You just hear that this one thing pops up on the podcast on your headset as you're listening to your phone. It just comes on and it starts just talk. It just does a thing to you, puts you in a trance, and then you do some crazy stuff. And no, I would have never pictured it as a book, but
You know,
you know,
it's amazing. There's every generation, has its way of getting its stories out there. And you always hear things of like, oh, comics are dead, comics are dying. I don't believe that. I honestly, are comics changing? Yes, yes, they're evolving. The business of it has to evolve.
Yeah.
The delivery system has to evolve. I mean, you look at like the kind of traffic that web comics get,
That's what I
or
was gonna bring up. Yeah, they've been. I don't know how. I mean, I guess because they're grabbing it to the technology side of it.
yeah, yeah, or look at the kind of numbers that manga sees. You
Oh,
know,
dude, that's yeah.
it's so the appetite for this medium, which I still believe, film is a passive form of entertainment. You sit there and it's fed to you. Comics, you the reader, you're active in it. You are reading it. You can get into the head of the characters. Comics are the perfect blend of visuals and the written word to me, which is why I've always loved this medium as much as I do. I think comics are the perfect form of storytelling, um, when they're done right. And comics have probably lived up to that old adage where of 90% of everything is shit. That's, comics have really embraced that a lot. But that 10% is gold. um
No, I mean even like Marv Wolf. One of the things like when he created Blade, perfect example. That
oh
right
man,
there.
there you go.
If like I told Marv, if that movie had flopped, we wouldn't have gotten X-Men and we wouldn't have gotten Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because that was, I mean, don't get me wrong, we had Superman, yes, Superman, but that was early there. And we had
Mhm.
Batman. That was for DC. DC has always been there. But for the Marvel side, I mean, they attempted, Fantastic Four, which I feel they were ahead of their game, the original Fantastic Four one that never made the movie theaters.
The Roger
And then
Corman one.
yeah. I mean, to me, okay, I gotta ask your opinion. That Doctor Doom suit to me was so spot on.
you know that movie gets a lot of well-deserved, punches, but I agree. That movie was probably the best looking, worst lit Doctor Doom that we'll ever see. Because yeah, he looked like he just stepped in out of the comics. Unfortunately, every room that he was in was nearly pitch black.
Yeah.
Um, but he was, and honestly, for a movie with a budget of, what did they have, $1,000 to play with, $900 of that budget must have been spent on that Thing costume. I think the Thing looks pretty good in that movie.
No, the thing was, yeah, I have to admit that was it was there. It had the right mindset. It just didn't have the right backing, and I
Yeah,
think
it's
that's what it
it's
was.
it's definitely a flawed movie. It could have been good. It
Yeah,
could have been good.
yeah, and that's the
That,
thing. And we, of course, even the Captain America one they did back in the day too. It had the right idea. It just didn't have the right people working on it at the time.
yeah, yeah. The threshold for movies was a lot lower then too. We weren't as sophisticated as we would be just, even just like 5 years later, or 6 years later.
Yeah, I mean Superman, that one right there. I mean, I have my Superman Lois right here, the Funko Pop, where they're flying in the air together. I had to get that one. I mean,
Is
Christopher
it
Reeve.
from the '78 movie?
Yeah, it's the. I had to get it. It has Lois and
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. The modern generation can say whatever they want. To me, that's the perfect movie. And I know I grew up with that one. That hit when I was maybe 9 years old, 8 years old, and I ate it up. I mean, I was in love with that movie, and to this day, I could still watch that movie. If it's on, it doesn't take much to suck me in.
yeah.
Superman 1 and 2. To me, those are two of the best movies out there. And I see the modern generation, they like to look back and they have no sense of context. They can't put themselves in our shoes. I mean, that was all we had. That was all we had.
Yeah.
And the thing that I always respect about that movie is whether it was Richard Donner or whoever, they went into that movie and they took the Superman that existed in the comics, and that's the one they gave us. They
Yeah.
didn't look at Superman like unfortunately I feel a lot of modern filmmakers do when they pick a franchise, whether it's Fantastic Four or X-Men. Richard Donner didn't look at Superman and said, "Okay, I want to do a Superman movie, but I need to fix Superman." I
Well,
need to change everything. No, Richard Donner said, "This is what Superman looks like. This is how he acts. This is the movie I'm making." And it became a Superman movie. Um, Nowadays, I think we all, when we hear that, oh, they're making, a Giant Man movie, I think all of us are going to be, oh God, what's Giant Man going to look like in this thing? Because that's first thing they probably do is they throw out the look of the character and they come up with whatever. He's going to be in black armor and a trench coat. That's what a Giant Man would look like in a movie.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing about Hollywood. Everyone, and that's the thing. It's trying to get the people on there to work on it that either know the stuff and not having to go back and read certain things to try to figure out, and then they take from this and that too as well. So it brings it back to what we were talking about before we started recording. Archie and the zombie thing that dropped the other day.
Oh, Afterlife, yeah,
Afterlife. What
it's
were
coming
was
back. Yes, and I believe that's what gave birth to Afterlife. I think that's because that was what I think they changed the title of the book for that one variant cover, and it actually says Afterlife with Archie on. So um, that's what gave birth. But I never worked on the book. The book was always Roberto Sacasa's book to write and Francesco's to draw. Nobody else ever worked on that.
oh wow. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
but
Dang.
I still get it. Even though I was not involved in the book at all, I've been asked forever. When's the new issue coming out? And unfortunately, all I can do is go, I don't know. I have nothing to do with it. They're not going to check in with me and give me updates on it. I assume because now they announce what it's a Netflix show, or it's
Yeah.
going to be a Netflix show. So I would imagine the book has to be coming back soon.
I mean, they
I,
would. I mean, yeah, it would to entice the people to that don't know about it to go and get it and read it because that's exactly what happened
oh,
with Invincible.
there's a fan base that's waiting.
Yeah.
They're waiting. There's people with the money in their hands. So Archie would be leaving money on the table if they didn't bring that book back. But
Yeah.
I can't predict anything anymore. So who knows?
So, how are we coming along with Archie and Star Trek? Have you done
Oh
draft?
man, I have not. I keep thinking, oh, should I pitch this?
Oh
But
man, right now is the time to do it. Star Trek, of what we have with Star Trek, Below Decks, especially with Archie and Jane, Silent Bob. I feel it's just this is just me. Like I said, this is one thing I always say in my interviews is that my wish list is my what I call it now. Um, I can picture Archie being on the Enterprise and freaking out when he's there. You know, um, somehow I don't know how it happens. He ends up on the Enterprise, and that's the only thing I can get. He's on the Enterprise and he's freaking out where he's at, but the rest of the story is like, okay, does Enterprise beam down to Sunnydale? What is the premise? You know what I mean? I
oh, I if I and I'm always just hired as an artist on these things. But if I sat down to, if I was okay to write this, I would have a ball with this.
Dude, you have to. I mean, because until and that's the thing. Until someone makes it, that it's no one's gonna know about it until it's either fan fiction, and that's how we got Deadpool into the movie because the video got leaked. You know what I mean? If it's there and it builds enough followers by like, oh man, this looks cool, fan art, and that's the thing right now. A lot of these publishing companies are finding independent new artists that are doing fan art online.
Oh yeah, oh
So
yeah, and that's true. The companies, and they've told us at the Kubert School, they do actively scan, Instagram. They still look at DeviantArt, believe it or not, still around. So they do actively look out there for artists. So you guys, you aspiring artists out there, the best thing you could do is put your stuff out there. The worst thing you could do is hide under a rock. Unfortunately, DC, Marvel, they're not going to come and look for you in the basement. You do have to meet them halfway and extend yourself.
So, fan fiction. This is me and you because we're both Star Trek fans. As you can tell, I don't know where it's at. Right here.
Oh, I see it. There it is.
So I'm a Star Trek fan. I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm a Last Starfighter fan. I love everything sci-fi. I am just a geek in general. I watch too much stuff. I'm like a sponge. I take comics in, TV shows, movies. My dad used to tell me I wasted too much time doing all that, but now look at me now.
Hey,
but anyway,
it's your life. You're the happiest man on earth.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So, dude, let's do this. I'm willing to let's do a fan fiction between me and you. Just shoot the shit and come up with an idea of how did the Enterprise get down to Sunnydale? Just
Riverdale.
Riverdale, I'm sorry. Riverdale. Get down to Riverdale, and because I mean that's how the Predator got there. So
I could see, the Enterprise has some sort of time travel incident where, they find themselves back in our current time. They beam to Earth somehow or another. Maybe they need people. Maybe they need to replace some lost crewmen, and maybe they recruit the teens from Riverdale and they beam them on board. I would like to get them back into the future because I would love to throw the Romulans at them, and I'd love to draw Reggie as a Romulan. And I always love Easter eggs. As I got to play with a lot of them in Archie Meets Jay and Silent Bob.
Damn.
Because I always had a feeling from his work that Kevin would appreciate a good Easter egg, and so fortunately there was plenty of room to drop in all these characters, and of course he gave me a lot of opportunities for crowd shots, so I really got to
since you brought this up now,
sure,
Easter eggs.
Mm-hmm.
For people that may have missed them, can you tell us some of that? I mean, I know we're going off the Star Trek thing, but tell fans which Easter eggs, if they missed it, that are in the comics that you threw in there, and Kevin was like, "Oh, he caught it," or you know what I mean?
Well, it wasn't too subtle, but I put the Eggman in there.
Yes, that was the first one that I caught when I and that's the one. I mean, even and I was like, oh, dude, that is priceless. I was like, off the bat, I was like, man, and he's all looking at the egg as he's walking out. I gotta find out what page that was. Yes, that one was freaking awesome.
There's a lot of very minor Archie characters, from Archie stories past in here, and I'm looking at my own copy here just to just to refresh my own head. Um,
Oh yeah, like this one right here. The
Little Ambrose.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's a little Archie character. That was Archie's friend when he was when he was a little Archie. Um,
I can't find it. Where is that? I saw that one too, and it was like in the original because that was one of the pieces that you teased when you were drawing the artwork, and I was like, nice. And
oh,
technically, before,
here's a
uh,
subtle one. This guy, remember him?
oh yeah, 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 yeah.
What was his name in Clerks? He was the oh God,
I'm trying to remember his name. He was the one that came into the store.
yeah, and and the Clerks Veronica. She had been with him.
Yes, yes, that's the one. I forgot his name, but then of course there's the one that you're talking about.
Yeah, there's Eggman. Oh, and there's with the long beard, Brian from
Yeah,
Comic Book Men too.
dude. I mean, these Easter eggs that you did. Yeah, I mean, Brian is in there reading the book.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about what the story. It was just the little Easter eggs that you put in there, the way the story flowed, the whole Veronica and the lasagna, and I mean,
that
dude.
that was genius. That was really genius.
But the way you drew it though too, I mean, that's the one thing I like about artists is like you take what they write and it's you putting it on paper at the end of the day.
Well, that's the fun part, you know. You do put it on paper, and it's however you want to do it. And also I got to play with all those products from the Quick
Yeah.
Stop that Kevin's come up, like Chuli's gum
Yes.
and the nail cigarettes. I dug deep, man. I was gonna stay true to the room. I was gonna give them everything.
No, you killed it, man. And then you know, comic capsule. Now I can display my stuff because before, you can't really find stuff to hang on the wall. And comic capsule has these now, and
Ooh, that's cool.
they're UV protected, and so you could hang them up and not worry about the comic fading and stuff like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm a one person. I don't like doing CGC. So like my important stuff that I have signed, I don't like to put them up. They're just sitting in boxes. But I'm like, they're in a box. No one's gonna see them. Only me. And when they came up with these, and I was like, dude, and they have the little back in the back where you can just put the
And you could open and close it.
yeah, it opens and closes right here.
Oh
Slide it
man,
in. Yeah,
that
it
could
is.
replace the bag and backing board.
I mean, yeah, technically, yeah. If you want for your high dollar stuff, I mean, yeah, it definitely can. Now, mine, this one's gonna go up on that side of the wall with all the rest of my comics are on that side.
Hmm.
So, and it's only now I'm starting to put them up because like my sketch covers, because I have sketch covers that have. I do unique stuff. They're crazy stuff. Like I have a Deadpool that looks like that has the wand from Doctor Who, and then he has the Fez hat, and then I have a couple of Harley Quinn sketches, so kind of stuff like that. Um, the only thing I'm missing is one of from you, so that's on my bucket list.
Whenever you want, or maybe someday I'll hit the con circuit again. It's been a while for me. I haven't done cons in a while. It's
well,
hard for me to get away.
well, hopefully maybe next year. Nasser show I did mention at the intro.
Yeah.
Hopefully next year we can get you to come down to San Antonio. Have you ever been to San Antonio?
No, I don't think I have. No, I've been to Dallas. Um, I was in the Houston airport for an hour. I was transferring. Um, I think that might be the extent of me in Texas.
Oh
It's always
wow.
been landing in Dallas.
Well, we're gonna have to make it happen and get you to San Antonio so that you come to Nasser show or even to do a store signing. That'd be freaking awesome because people who have their Archie comics can come get them signed because where
Mm.
else are you going to be able to get this signed by you? Um, that's going to be the Fernando Ruiz tour.
There aren't many of those anymore. I've gotten to value my weekends. Working at the school every single day, I've gotten to value my weekends.
No, that's true too. Yeah, weekends go by too fast.
Oh man, they sure do.
Well, again, Countdown City Geeks. Go follow Fernando. He's always doing doodles as well. You can see stuff that he puts up.
I
Uh,
put up a lot of artwork that I do in my classes,
yeah,
that I do as demos. I always post those. So please, yeah, follow me online.
yeah, and then also the Kubert School. Go follow the Kubert School
Follow the Kubert
if you're
School.
interested.
In 2 weeks at the Kubert School, we're having an open house. So that's Saturday, October 18th, from noon until 3. And we have some of our teachers, they'll be there doing demos. Our students, we use our students as tour guides so people
Oh
can
wow.
come and just take a tour of the new school. And anybody who's ever been curious about the school, especially if you wanted to attend, it's a great opportunity to come and talk to the staff. I'll be there. We're all there, and it's a great opportunity to learn about the Kubert School. And then right after that, at 3, I'll be teaching a special class at the Kubert School that's open to anybody. So it'll be a special basic drawing lesson. Um, all skill levels welcome, and totally free. All you have to do is just show up. So
Wow. Well,
October 18th,
nice.
kubertschool.edu. Check it out online.
Sweet. All right, Countdown. Thanks again for another awesome, just sitting down and listening to us talk about comics and what we love, and talk about Kevin Smith, of course. Um, Go like and follow him. Follow us for more cool interviews that we're doing. We have stuff that we haven't even dropped yet. Um, so between Fernando talking about comics, we've got horror interviews from actresses from VHS that just dropped. Anything you'd love in the industry, go check us out. We're covering from movies to TV. Don't miss out, guys. All right. Peace.
Bye bye, everybody.